Okay, the importance of these learning outcomes, they give you idea what will be the weighting of the subject areas for each module, as well as the individual details of the module involved. Okay, and remember when we analyzed the December 24 post-exam review, we tried to match the piscine information with the syllabus. This is so-called the syllabus. Okay. So if we focus on first the weighting involved here, okay, 1, 2, 3 is strategy. So you will find on average at least 25 up to even 50% on strategy. This will be governed by the first mind map given to you before. 1, 2, 3 about strategy, which is highlighted in this detailed mind map. Position analysis, strategic choice, and implementation. All right. So they set a scenario, you check the piscine, what is the strategy they are using? What is their strategic position, competitiveness at the moment? And then in the piscine, they may mention something about proposing or current issue. Then will there be any business development in the additional information about strategic choice? I mentioned to you last slide about SAF, how to select option. Okay, sometimes they use general language, saying in the examination financial or non-financial consideration in order to make the decision. And then implementation. So these are the 3 areas: position analysis, strategic choice, and implementation most likely happens in the final exam. And then once you have start the development for the business, then you need to weigh finance and consider the regulatory compliance. Sometimes they ask listing rules, sometimes they ask insider dealing or some regulation involved. And then raising finance, you study the Flick model, how to raise finance, valuation, what consideration. We call raising finance. After that, then you continue the business, corporate governance, risk management, with reference to your consideration of professional ethics and business ethics, including ESR, corporate social responsibility. Finally, HR management. 这个可以吗? Overall picture. Okay, then we move on. For example, I highlight in blue here, taxation. What normally, because of the setting of the final exam, they have the background information of a company, of a group, in a particular industry, the founder, the background information, and then the milestone of the company. Now they want to move forward to face the challenge, to take up opportunity. We call business development. Then what will be the taxation aspect? So we move on to see this syllabus for the taxation aspect. I cover the taxation aspect first. Okay, here in the second page, taxation. Taxation implication about your strategic alternatives. So it means that in the piscine, especially when they mention propose something or current issue, etc., then you need to consider if that alternative strategy is used, what will be the tax implications? So sometimes they mention the current issue in the piscine. Sometimes they give you additional information for the current issue. So in yesterday's paper, the current issue is in the additional information. That means you can only imagine it in the real exam date. Now they are recruiting or contracting overseas entertainer to China to the marketing program. Then if that is the taxation aspect of this strategy, then what is the implication? So as I mentioned yesterday, you think about that now, including three angles: income side, expense side, and administration side. Okay, income side talking about taxability. Expense side talking about detailed computation, any deduction, withholding, etc. And then administration reporting to the government, paying the tax overall. Then also the scenario I mentioned yesterday, entertainer to overseas China to do something, then will there be any double tax issue, home country tax issue? Can you see the weight? Okay, then one question that the real question can only be seen in the exam day, but however, if you check the PCN on yesterday, December 24, you check the alternative strategy. For example, they propose the company venture capitalists want to exit. That means they want to sell the shares. What is the tax implication? Clear or likely sale of capital assets not taxable, Section 14. These are the issues that you can consider. Or even the basic level of stamp duty. If you dispose the Hong Kong stock, then you need to pay stamp duty, etc. Okay? Then that is the way how to manage it. Before the examination, see the PCN, see any alternative they are proposing or likely to happen, then what is the tax implication? Income side, expense side, or reporting side. And then if this is involving two areas, will there be any double tax arrangement as well as transfer pricing? Because whenever there are two places, if they are related company, there will be transfer pricing issue as well. In the risk management, they mention potential taxation and other risks, etc. So here is the taxation risk. One example in the past paper is like that, especially in the pilot paper, they go into China and then they want to have some licensing. So what will be the potential taxation risk? Will you, the company, pay royalty tax on the income received, or will you be subject to income tax in mainland China? So these risk management, that means that you highlight the risk of or the taxability of the income side, then you can highlight the risk involved. Then if that is the case, likely the next question, follow-up question is, how do you manage it? Next one. How do you manage it? For example, commercial point of view, will it be borne by the contracting party, the counterparty? If this is unlikely, if that is the case, you need to fulfill the regulatory framework, how to report the tax, how to calculate the tax, etc. In the model answer, they even just mentioned you need to seek advice from tax experts. That's all. Few key word of taxation in the learning outcome. All right. Okay. Then how can we imagine or visualize the example I've given to you? Then you check the mind map, the taxation mind map here. So likely the scenario of the case, if you check the past paper, pilot paper, etc., will be like that. Just explain the last slide. You have a company, no matter this is in Hong Kong or in China, their current business issue is like that. Then they come across some current issue. They want to expand, they want to merger and acquisition, they want to go overseas, they want to diversify. And then they ask you from tax angle, you imagine this picture, then what will be asked? If you refer to the profits tax first, you go to page 6. Okay, suppose you are the Hong Kong company. If that is the case, the tax issue with an overseas company above could be transfer pricing here. Transfer pricing DIPN 5859. Alternatively, the overseas company may charge you royalty. So deemed trading receipts here. So if I highlight the key point here, transfer pricing, this one, the IPN 58, 59. And then deemed trading receipts, royalty income, this one. 可以吗? So these two items you must be a little bit familiar. Alternatively, not the overseas, you are not the Hong Kong company. You are actually the overseas company. Then the immediate question can answer is to invest in Hong Kong. So the other way around, the subject entity is over on the top. Then invest in Hong Kong. So likely you will be asked, is it doing business in Hong Kong? What is the source concept in Hong Kong? Source concept, DIPN 21. So if in the middle, they may likely ask you the overseas company coming to Hong Kong, will it be doing business in Hong Kong? Or what will be the source issue here? Okay, next one. Sometimes or most of the times in your scenario is Hong Kong and China. Then you need to touch on DTA. Hong Kong, China, you need to discuss DTA. So one of the angle you need to discuss DTA for profits tax angle is basically Article 5. What is PE under DTA? Article 7, how to calculate the tax of the PE. Then double tax credits. Okay, this is likely the scenario that may be asked in your so-called capstone case. Any questions so far? The possible questions for income side. Suggest you to select some likely to be happen in the capstone case scenario rather than into detail. All right, because you are not being tested for module 14. You are tested in a business scenario. What will be happened for the taxation risk or tax implication of the strategic alternative? Okay, so therefore, section 14 could be very relevant, still very relevant for your capstone angle. And then deemed trading receipts for royalty angle, because they ask quite a lot for royalty, which is a business alternative for doing business. We don't charge them buying service or buying goods. We charge them using our rights. So we charge them royalty. Okay, then for non-resident coming back to Hong Kong, doing business in Hong Kong, what does it mean by doing business? Section 14. Okay, then the other things which I mentioned to you, they may involve related company in Hong Kong and overseas. Therefore, they may ask about transfer pricing issues. So you probably need to recap your understanding at page 7.3 about transfer pricing, especially for the new angle, section 58AF under DIPN 59. What does it mean? It means that will it be at arm's length basic? If there is no arm's length basic, then and tax advantage to the Hong Kong company, then there will be an adjustment. Transfer pricing is another angle. Then what else that would be more relevant? Individual-wise, DTA is in profits tax as well. So you probably need to cover this page 11 and page 10. What is doing business in Hong Kong, the new concept, EIPN 60. And then DTA, especially the profits angle, Article 5, Article 7, and Article 21. Okay, currently, do you still remember there are some changes of stamp duty? Even link, even you have studied last round, December 24, but it is changing already. So you need to update a little bit, just in case the examiner wants to test some updated issues, then they may test this angle. So remember to check the stamp duty update.
Yeah.
Okay, then source issue is important. Some general points that you remind yourself, because that if this is a general question on the tax implication, then you may consider whether source is also relevant. DIPM 21, I mean source. That's all for the profits tax angle. Individual, so far, they don't ask too much individual. So that's all for what I want to draw your attention. You check your mind map, which is given by us. So each area, what should be focusing on. Then if you want to check the detail, check the learning outcome. You may line by line check, oh, these works happens in the PCN, will it be related? For example, if they mention quite a lot about the founder, then you need to think about leadership, the characteristic, the trait of the founder, etc. Will they ask about leadership? That's all for what I want to draw attention before the other lecturers draw your attention to what we are continuing to discuss the December 24. 还有什么问题吗？
So the score of the taxation is not so much.
You may assume maybe 5. All right. You may assume 5. Sometimes 10, sometimes 5, sometimes 0. But on lesser extent.
The most important part is module 12.
Correct.
Module.
Do you know why? Because you check the weighting of the syllabus. You see 1, 2, 3 strategy already 30 marks. Finance and regulatory compliance also maybe in module 12 as well. Altogether nearly 40. So in your exam only 80 marks. 可以理解吗?
Okay, but I haven't learned module 12. So
no,
at this moment,
you should not study module 12. You should study this learning outcome.
Okay.
All right.
So I still have a question. Tomorrow is workshop day 3. So I 就是
有什么问题吗？
就是它有一个什么written assignment
对
personal written assignment 这个是just like we will write a report, a memo, email like this.
Okay. On the other hand, they ask you to jot down the points, and then afterwards, one of you will come up and present. Present may using a flip chart. Okay, highlight the key points. And then the written assignment is just like this one. The written assignment is just like you submit. For example, I show you another example in the questions. For example, they asked you to, this question 2A and 2B are related. Evaluate the 2 offers regarding the merger and acquisition or acquisition of the 60% shares. And then potential concerns. So they may ask you to write a memo, write a report, write a list of points, etc. You just write as you are taking the exam. Okay. Now 就差不多了。Thank you.